Hello guys and welcome back to United Brothers. Robert got a new plane and it's called the Pawnee
Brave Night Flyer.
Brave Night Flyer.
This is a 3-cell airplane. This is also made by Rise Hobby. If I can remember, it's 48-inch wingspan, so that's what, 1,300 millimeters, right?
I think it's 12.
12.
Yes.
Yeah, 1,300. Okay, 1,300 millimeter. So what's special about this one, we won't be showing you at this time, obviously. This airplane does have built-in LEDs all throughout inside it, so you can see it at night if you want.
Yeah.
I have literally gotten one flight in with this, and it was about a minute long.
This won't be as Maiden, but
no, it's pretty much kind of like a Maiden. Yeah, I didn't fly very long. I just want to make sure everything was working correctly before I brought it to a video for you guys. So this is actually a pretty cool, good-sized airplane.
And from the looks of it, it can hit. It has optional flaps.
Yeah, definitely. So
which you have to get your own servos.
As you guys can see here, it includes the control rod and stuff, but you need servos if you want to add those in. So that would be kind of cool to add some flaps to this eventually. I think this thing would fly nice and slow with that if you wanted some flaps on here.
So what are the flight times on this guy?
From what I've done research on, it says you can do between 7 and 8 minutes on the 3,200 milliamp 3 cells is what you can get. Basically, if you're going to be kind of ringing it out, give it full throttle once in a while, I'd probably say about 5 minutes. The one thing that I noticed, because I was just trying out some low batteries on just to see what happened. Yeah. If you fly this at night, I'd make sure you bring your flight times down to about 1.5 minutes less, because the LEDs actually start to dim down when the battery gets lower. And the last thing you want is all of a sudden you lose all these lights while you're flying at night, and you can still move the plane, but you're like, oh, where'd it go?
So what I've noticed that these wingtip LEDs are always on.
Yeah, but
then there's a button inside to turn on the wings.
Yeah, so let's go and show them that really quick. Yeah. So, can you hold that for me, my friend? Sure. Perfect. So you guys can see here, this is the inside of the plane. What's really cool, so this has built-in AS3X. It also has the switch right here, so I can turn on these LEDs right here if I want, or turn them off. So you can basically, if you want to fly in the daytime, you don't want to waste any more battery than you have to, you can turn those off, or if you want to fly at night, turn the LEDs on, go and have a great time. Yeah. So this is what's kind of cool about this, because if you actually master this airplane, you can go out any time of the day you want. It doesn't matter if it gets dark.
Definitely.
That's what's going to be fun about it. I won't lie, the grass takeoffs, they're a little sketchy just because the landing gear is a little shorter, but I have to give them a lot of credit for it. This is actually a very sturdy type of gear. It's all aluminum, very strong kind of gear. So to be honest with you, it's actually very trustworthy in the grass. Just because it's a little bit of a shorter airplane, make sure you get it good power and just go for it, because if you take your time on the grass, it's not going to do very well. Yeah. No, I overall love the look of the airplane. It looks really cool. It looks completely scaled to the actual crop dusters. Yeah. If you guys didn't know, this is a crop duster. Yeah, so why don't we get in the air a little bit, see how it flies? What do you think?
Yeah, but before we forget, specs.
Oh.
So no. Yeah, let's get it up.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So, one thing out of the box, I've complained about a little bit. The assembly wasn't as simple as I was hoping it to be. Some of the screws are a little cheap. It has a lot more authority than I thought it would for those elevators there. So the screws are pretty cheap, so be very careful. They strip very easily to get that gear on there, so that's going to be a very big headache. Other thing though too, I've noticed is some of the control rods sometimes are kind of set in a really awkward spot, so make sure before you all screw it all together that you check to make sure they're the length that you want. Where they hook up to the control horns, just because like they didn't feel like where they should be quite. Wow, I'm just hovering here. Just hovering there in the wind.
There's a little bit of wind.
From first off right here, I can see the AS3X working pretty well. It's definitely keeping the airplane straight. There's quite a bit of wind today. I won't lie, there's a couple moments right now that the airplane feels a little bit on edge right now. It doesn't feel quite at home yet, just because it's not all trimmed out. But as you can see, it flies really nice and scale. It looks really, really good. It's very stable. It floats very well. It has a lot of lift to it, which is nice. So if you want a good park flyer that has plenty of lift to it, this is good right here. I was very impressed with the grass takeoff with these gear. I have to give it that. This grass is pretty long. But no, it flies really nice so far. I'm very impressed with it. You can see those lights on there still. It has a couple lights to stay on at all times, which is pretty cool. Give it some of that rudder authority. It's got a good rudder to it too.
You can knife edge it?
But I can try. Let's go up a little higher. I'm not doing it this low.
Where are you? Okay. Yeah, so if you're feeling comfortable, you gonna do some aerobatics for him?
Yeah. I might save the really aerobatic stuff for the next battery since we don't know how long we have on this one.
Yeah, definitely.
But let's get up here a little bit. All right, are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second. All right, and then knife it. Oh wait, wrong way. Not very well.
No.
No.
Okay.
That was full, and it still likes to drop a bit.
Okay, so it's kind of like my artisan.
Definitely not aerobatic. It can do a little bit of stuff though. It's more of just like a scale park flyer kind of thing. Very cool though. This is only half throttle, so it obviously has a lot of power. Let's give it full power one go. What do you
How
think?
high does it? Is it like infinite to climb or no?
Let's find out.
Okay.
Full power. That'd be a no.
Okay.
That'd be a no. It's got good power to it though. You can get yourself out of a situation if you need to, which is nice. And like we said, it's very windy today. Now it's fall weather, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. It was getting a lot darker earlier, and that's why we got a night flyer.
Yeah, that's exactly why I wanted that.
Daylight savings is coming, so
Start
getting dark around 5.
Dark at 4 p.m. In another month or two.
Yeah.
Which is gonna be so much fun. You know what'd be really cool with this thing? I've always wanted to try this thing with, just from looking at, I haven't, of course this is my first time flying. I've always wanted to try this thing though with some like water floats or something. That'd be so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Light on the snow with those.
Oh heck yeah. Or even get some skis for it.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, you can do some really nice coordinated turns though. The rudder is really nice for that, where it doesn't give it so much throw that it feels uncontrollable. But yeah, as you can see here, I mean, it's not a bad little flyer though. It's got a good authority to it, and it flies pretty well. I think I'm still getting a little used to the A3X because I actually haven't ever owned a big airplane with it before. So this is actually my first huge, like full-size plane that actually has A3X on it. But you can see here, this is just a quarter of the throttle. Just nice little.
It
nice
cruises,
little cruiser.
yeah.
Nice little cruiser, and it stays up in the wind pretty well. So you know what? Just because I don't know the condition of the battery, let's go ahead and bring it in. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Flying it for a little bit. There. Oh, there's a stall. There was a stall. So you may get it over here for a nice little approach, and then we'll bring her in. Still a little fast. Might want to come around for one more go.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm still getting used to this, ladies and gentlemen. This is only my it's pretty much my maiden, I think, this one.
It's pretty much your first big plane with gear, actually.
Yeah,
if you
really.
think about
Yeah.
it.
I mean, I have to land it with the gear.
Yeah.
So don't have a choice.
It's a 3-bladed prop, and it'll break one of those if you.
Oh yeah, if you're not careful with it.
Yeah.
So let me get around here. I do think with this airplane I can feel a little bit. You definitely want to keep the speed up on it a little bit because with these big wings it slows down very quickly. So. Alright, I probably don't want to dead stick it though. Stall me. Other way. Oh. That was a little rougher than I wanted. Alrighty guys, well as you guys saw there, just flew the airplane a little bit, had a little bit of a rough landing. So basically, all I did there on that landing that was a little rough to it is, just like every other airplane I've ever owned that's huge, I don't know why they continue to keep using plastic pieces to hold the gear in. I don't know if it's just the grass lanes that do this to us, but I've also noticed when you land on the road it can do it too. This was the only piece that broke, and I'd have to say it's kind of a weak fail point for a lot of airplanes. I don't know why they keep doing it. So that was the only thing that broke, so I need to get a new one of those. That is probably one of my faults I have to give it today, is about that. Really, they feel the landing gear is nice and strong, but it's just the part that holds it in there is the weak part, Also, I have to give a little bit, minus a couple points for just the construction quality, like putting it together. The screws they use for the landing gear, or the screws actually for most of the control points that you put on the airplane once you unbox it, are very cheap, and if you're not careful they strip very easily and you can't get them as tight down as you want, or you might break a few things. Also though too is I have to say that one thing I'm not too impressed with is the control rods. I'm not really a big fan of them just because there's a lot of fail points in here with this. And I'll let you know too, before you put it together actually, make sure that your servos are where you want them for the elevator, because this elevator for me, the first day we put it together, I actually had to use, this is actually right here, it's full trim back just to make the elevator normal, and we've already tried every pivot point right here, so we definitely need to go in there and set that up differently again. I am hoping when we get this back in the air, I would like to equip the airplane with those optional flaps it has. I think this thing would be great with flaps, it'd be so cool. get the new landing gear on there, and we're going to make sure this thing is completely wired up the way it should be. So I'd have to say, for flight characteristics, I was very impressed with how slow the airplane can fly. It can actually handle slow speeds very well. I mean, like I said, with flaps, it'd just be phenomenal how slow this thing could fly. It does fly at good speed. If you want full speed, it definitely flies at a very good speed. You're not going to be bored. Very fun. I think if everything's hooked up right, I think this could be, I'd probably say like a medium range. It could be a little fun maneuverable plane. I think you can do some really cool tricks with it if you wanted to. Plenty of power though. It's got a good amount of power for itself. So other than that though, I mean, it's the construction quality, and then I also did notice during flight a little bit, this thing is trimmed out the way I want it now. When I was flying, there's a couple moments in the flights where you don't feel quite fully in control. Like, I don't know if it's just because of the wind of the AS3X is helping out a little bit, but a couple moments the airplane kind of feels a little teeter-tottery at some points. Like, you don't know if it's going to tip stall, if it's just going to drop straight on you. As you guys saw in that video, as I came in for that landing, the wing started going to the left on me a little bit. I gave it full right aileron, and it still wanted to go in like that, so it flipped over a little hard on me there. But other than that, it's a nice airplane. We took off and landed in this grass out here. It does grass not too bad for what it comes with. I'd probably say though, for grass landings, just for the heck of it, try some bigger tires. I was actually thinking for next time for another video that we might do on it, I want to put some of those, remember that red Sport Cup from Park Zone I told you about, Damon? I wouldn't mind putting some of those bigger tires on this. It'd probably be really fun in the grass out here with those. So, other than that though, I think it's a really good idea from Horizon Hobby. I think it's a really cool airplane. Like I said, just needs a couple little tweaks here and there, and I think it'd be a very fun flyer. I'm excited to get some night flights in with it. Anyway, though, why don't we go ahead and finish up this review? What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Well, as you guys saw there, that was our review on the Horizon Hobby Pawnee Brave night flyer. Wasn't quite as much flying as I wanted to get in. Of course, like I said, we'll return with some more videos, and I still want to try night flying.
Definitely.
I think there's a couple things I want to do personally to myself to modify it a little bit to make it a little bit more to my preference, just how it flies. Like I said, just the weak points were the construction. The construction's not quite as easy as I wish it was. Some of the parts are a little cheap. You have to do a little bit of tinkering with it, and then I'd have to say, with a lot of these planes, that plastic piece, that it doesn't really matter how strong your landing gear is. If that plastic piece breaks, you're done. They need to do something about these pieces, just because even if it's a soft grass landing or even on the road, I've seen people that just break them even if they don't try to, or they start to crack over time. So that's just a couple fail points. I think overall the airplane itself is a really fun flyer. I could feel the AS3X helping out quite a bit in the wind today because it's pretty windy today. Overall, I think the airplane deserves a very solid 8 out of 10. Mostly my issues are just the construction stuff. I think the airplane's a very good solid flyer.
Yeah, I agree.
Just a couple times, I'm not sure if it was quite just because of the conditions today. There was a couple points where the airplane felt a little teeter-tottery, like you weren't quite sure if it was going to tip on you or just going to go straight down to a stall, but it's a good flyer. I'd have to give it credit. You know what? And I think with flaps and you get those bigger tires in there, I think it'd be a perfect grass lander.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it'd be perfect. I mean, the fact that I'm actually very impressed with the fact that gear and how short the airplane is handled that grass just taking off today.
Yeah, it's probably a good 1.5 inches grass right now.
Oh yeah, and that handled it too. Yeah. Just the stock gear.
Yeah.
It's just the my landing there was a little rough. I won't lie. When I was coming in for the landing, like I said, that whole teeter-totter effect. As I was coming in, the left wing started to drop on me a little bit, so I gave it a little bit more throttle. I gave it full right aileron. It still stayed to the left, and that's when it hit the ground kind of hard.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm not really quite sure if that was a stall or if that's just because of the conditions today or how I was landing. But like I said, I think it's a solid flyer. I think it's going to be a very fun airplane when everything's tweaked out a little bit more on it.
So what's the score you think you would put on this?
This model for sure?
Yeah.
I'm definitely giving it a solid 8 out of 10. It definitely, the airplane itself doesn't deserve any kind of how do I say it? Any kind of minus in points. It's just the construction quality of some of the materials, and then just those little tweaks. That's about it. Okay. The airplane itself is a very solid flyer. I'm very impressed with it. It was fun. The fact that I could take it up in one go. I didn't even have any dual rates set on or anything yet, and you can still fly it very controllably. It's a really good model. Yeah. Like I said, just those little tweaks, and I think it'd be a great model. What I will suggest to you, if you guys get this model yourselves, just make sure that before you actually go out and fully fly it, just take it off a couple times at a park, make sure everything's working right, make sure all your control rods are the length you want, make sure everything's tweaked out right before you, because then that way, go out and have a blast with it. I think this will be so much fun. I'm actually very excited. I'm hoping within the next probably week or two, I want to bring you guys a night flight. I want to try it.
And then the skill level? Probably a strong
skill level. It's a very strong intermediate. Okay. It's I'd have to say the whole takeoffs and everything like that, it's very good. It lifts up immediately. You don't need a lot of elevator. The only thing is though, it's just the airplane itself is kind of feels sometimes you're on the edge a little bit with how it flies, and Yeah, I'd say strong intermediate.
Okay.
Definitely don't make this your first 4-channel, without any kind of assistance airplane.
Yeah.
But I definitely think if you've flown a little bit more 4 channels, you want to try something bigger, I think this is a perfect airplane for it. I'd have to say the characteristics of how it flies, it's almost as gentle as one of those T-28s that everyone loves. It's just like I said though, there's a couple moments where you don't quite feel all in control.
Yeah.
So. What were a couple things do you think you liked about just looking at it?
I mean, I love the size.
The size, yeah.
It's definitely easy to tell top from bottom.
Yeah.
And the lights are a plus.
The lights are really cool. Like I
Yeah.
said, I'm excited to try them out. The only thing I'm wondering too, though, is I'm wondering in hard crashes if those lights will hold up. You know what I mean? That's one thing I've always wondered. I'm not going to find out on purpose.
No.
Not going to find out on purpose, but I just wondered about that. But no, the airplane looks really good. And I think when it comes to like the scale look of it, I mean, they nailed it right on with it. It looks really, really nice. So. I don't think I have much more to say about it. Like I said, solid 8 out of 10. Great flyer. It's just a little bit of construction materials and just some of the tweaking. That's about it. So,
That's it.
like I said, thank you guys so much again for watching. I'm Robert.
I'm Damon.
And this is United Brothers. We'll see you guys again next time.
See you.
One thing I have to complain about is just that whole stupid how they trim it out setup. I'm pretty sure if you get the bind and fly model, it might be a lot better though. So,
Yeah.
Why don't we go ahead and let's get you flying this a little bit, show them off how it does a little bit here.
Yeah,
and
let's do it.
We'll go from there.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.